So the question for me, guys, those are two of the best teams in the NFC, according to their records. I'm going to name 4 teams that had big wins yesterday. Which one do you feel like was the biggest and that you learned a lot and you should feel the best about if you're an NFC elite? We have the Rams getting beat by the Niners. We have the Eagles beating the Steelers. We have who else do we have, Reed?
Minnesota.
We have Minnesota beating Arizona.
And that's who I think is...
Go ahead. You think that's the most impressive win from an NFC
Philadelphia,
elite?
we're dead set on Philadelphia being studs. But I think that the Vikings, although it's a lot of the same characters out there, it's a new regime. I've loved what I've seen from Kevin O'Connell's offense, and also Zadarius Smith has been a huge addition on their defense. He had 2 sacks yesterday. And in that game also, it was pretty cool. I got to give a shout out to Hopkins, obviously 800 receptions, 138 games. They look methodical on offense. Minnesota does. They can run the ball with Dalvin Cook. Yeah. They can be explosive. So they have that complementary polarity offensively. Mm-hmm. And I think O'Connell has breathed a lot of confidence into Kirk Cousins. Obviously, we've yet to see him have success in the primetime games. But I think this team is built as such that they can win in those games now.
Yeah, no question. This guy's been lights out as a head coach. I think they've quietly amassed 7 wins now or 6 wins now. The one loss being to the Eagles, and ironically, they had a bad game plan that game defensively,
and so, it was a primetime game, which isn't fair.
No, yeah, Kirk prefers 1 p.m. So, I thought that was a good win and all that. I think. I bet the Cardinals at 4.5, and that was extremely frustrating.
Well, the turnovers
thinking about putting them on the do not bet list with Jacksonville, but
it felt like they had 1 million possessions down 8 after Joseph missed that extra point.
1 trillion.
34-26. They just kept moving it to like the 30.
Yep.
Couldn't do many more.
And the way the game ended, if you're, like Kyler getting sacked and that sort of stuff, like the clock management, it was frustrating. I can imagine being a Cardinals fan. I mean, it's got to be a roller coaster ride. Who would you out of those wins? I mean, also throw Dallas in there because they looked really good.
Dallas is my answer because Dallas seemed for the first time dependable.
Yeah,
because you didn't know what you were getting from Dak just because he hasn't been playing, and they put up 49 points. And Tony Pollard, for heaven's sakes, is clearly the best back on that team.
Good to make some money.
And
still on that rookie deal. He's not making that much money.
And when Zeke is healthy, okay, put him between the tackles. But Pollard is dynamic. But they score so many points. I learned more about Dallas than I did a team like Philly, just because I already thought they were elite.
Right.
I think Minnesota's solid, and Arizona is I don't know what Arizona is. And then Seattle beats a really banged up New York team, and those are 2 probably above average but not great teams. Yeah. Dallas is a team where I was like, okay, this is not only a playoff team but a team that has some juice because of that defense. But now the offense can. If the offense can put up points like that, all right, that's the CeeDee Lamb we thought we were going to see. Good connection with Dalton Schultz. Dallas is my answer to.
And go
prompt.
look at Dak Prescott's shot chart, so to speak, yesterday. I mean, so efficient. The guy is incredibly efficient, and the top end speed of that offense. Not only with Pollard taking a lot of snaps. I mean, I know he's not a great protector in the pass game, but that top end speed that they can get to 49 points. I don't think they scored over 25 with Cooper Rush, which sheds light on how ridiculous that whole conversation was. I mean, Cooper Rush is a great backup. He's a great commodity on a team like that that's set up to win with a backup. Their defense stepped up over that span of time. And in this game, they had to score. Chicago was scoring. And until that Micah Parsons fumble return for a touchdown, which, again,
Hustle.
We just talked about Micah Parsons and hustle. We just talked about it last week. I had a chance to interview Dan Quinn for 33rd Team, and I asked him, have you had that wow play yet? Because a month ago, after the Bengals game, somebody in the media pool asked him, you coached in Seattle, you've seen championship defense. Have you had one of those plays yet where you just go, wow, we are pretty good? And Dan, and it's the answer I wanted him to have, was a week ago with Micah Parsons running down the tight end at the pylon there, and 10-6, Detroit's about to go up 13-6, and you live to fight another day, and Tank Lawrence blows up a play, and you got the ball back. So his hustle, it does not go unnoticed. And there are very few guys defensively who are the best players on the field and play the hardest. And he ran by 4 guys to get to that pylon. He was the only guy on the field that seemed to know that the ball was live. Justin Fields didn't know, and I think Justin Fields takes a lot of shit for jumping over Micah Parsons, but look at the guys around him. Nobody knew the ball was live. Micah Parsons knew the ball was live. He was the only person. So it should be more about Micah Parsons and his tremendous athleticism, his hustle, and his awareness.
He looked like Ross Chastain passing up all those folks for the football.
He did. He's like, I've seen this in a video game.
Look damn near like Brandy Chastain on that PK.
Yeah.
Are you too young for that? Sports bra.
I know sports bra slide to the knees.
Yeah, I was wondering when Micah Parsons took his shirt off.
Yeah.
Okay, so my answer is the Niners. Okay, and I know that like I'm kind of manifesting here and I'm speaking into existence, but this is the week that people are going to start talking about the Niners. Look around, listen. People are going to be like, yeah, they're really good. Like, when a week ago it was like, they're not that good. Yeah. They're underachieving. They're all this stuff. Jimmy G's not that good. And I know it's the Rams. I know you beat them 8 straight times, but they had their backs against the walls here going into the bye. 3-5 looks incredibly different than 4-4, right? Especially with the Seahawks playing inexplicably very good.
Yep.
And they're in the driver's seat in the NFC West. But if you're the Niners, you got to feel pretty good because you beat the dog shit out of the Seahawks. You go into the bye, you get Trent Williams back a week ago. You're going to get Deebo Samuel back. You're going to get Jennings back. You're going to get Armstead back. You're going to get Kinlaw back.
You're going to get
players back all these motherfuckers back, and people don't want to see the Niners. No. So I really believe in the NFC. I know that the Vikings have reeled off a bunch of wins. I know that the Giants are good. They have a better record than the Niners. I know that a lot of these teams are ahead of the Niners right now, but when I judge a team, I want to know in my brain what they look like in December and January. And this team, fully healthy, with Christian McCaffrey in the fold. And, a lot of people say they got fleeced. Well, not this year, man, because this guy walks in and he gives you a different dimension. And you saw it yesterday. They were down 7-0. They were down 14-7 at the half. They go to the half, and I think Fred Warner said, we don't want to go into the bye like this. So they go out in the second half, and this is also a big turning point, not only for the team, but for D'Amico Ryans, because a week ago, he got all this head coaching talk when Matt Rule got fired.
Yes.
And people were like, the Niners blew a bunch of fucking coverages, and Patrick Mahomes is good. Shocker. Maybe this guy isn't a head coach. Well, in the second half, they made the adjustments necessary. I believe they got a little bit more sub against 11 personnel, got some of the linebackers off the field. And when the Rams got to third down, they heated them up. They had 2 possessions in the third quarter, I think it was, and they were bookended. They bookended a long San Francisco drive. They never could get into a rhythm. 61 yards total for the Rams in the second half. And the biggest play for the Rams that they want back is they're down 10 at the end of that ball game, middle of the fourth quarter, and Higbee drops the ball inexplicably. He's still running if he catches that football, and that's a totally different ball game. So hats off to the defense. They played great the second half. And Jimmy looked good, man. Jimmy, the 2 throws he made, the one to McCaffrey in the end zone, which was a backyard ball deal with McCaffrey. He read left to right, the entire field, went to McCaffrey, beautiful ball. The dagger to Kittle in the end zone. These are really good throws, and I think Jimmy G is getting a little healthier. I don't want to fall for the pump fake because he always looks like Joe Montana against the Rams. But the twisting of the knife for me is the fact that if you're the Rams, you've seen McCaffrey now twice in a month. You pursued him in the trade market, and the big brother, little brother thing, even though you have the Super Bowl, Shanahan owns you. He owns McCaffrey now. And the first possession of the game where they're down 7-0 and they got a chance to go answer, McCaffrey on 3rd and 7 breaks a Taylor Rapp tackle and then breaks a Jalen Ramsey tackle short of the sticks, gets the first down, and keeps the drive alive so he can throw that touchdown. And there's so many ways that he affects the game. And the touchdown, Triple Crown thing, overrated, dude. Okay, what kind of a stat is that? McCaffrey threw a touchdown. Great. That's not what he does. But you know what's not overrated? Having that play on tape. Because now every time you throw a swing pass to McCaffrey, the second level defenders are looking at that and saying,
home.
It's like another element. I don't want to be high guy here.
That's a good point, Chris.
But it is like another element to it's. I don't know if it's the future of football. I don't want to get too out ahead of myself here. But if you have a guy that can throw the football and you motion him behind the quarterback, there are a ton of plays in today's NFL where a pass goes backwards, right? Slightly backwards.
It's like the Chase Claypool play yesterday, too.
Yeah, second-level defenders, they got to think before they come downhill and add to the run fit effectively, because that's a run play. Maybe in 10 years, we're looking at offense and saying, like, that's another layer of the RPO.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a swing pass behind the quarterback.
Pass option.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would run this once every couple weeks.
Yep.
And just occupy eyes.
And it'll impact dozens of plays based on formation and pre-snap motion, to your point, Chris.
Yes.
And that's actually really, really a bright observation. Like
Thanks.
a guy like McCaffrey.
Don't act so shocked, guys.
I said
a guy
it
like
first,
yeah, you did.
a guy like Claypool.
You'd be the first to tell me.
You can affect that second level, to your point, is really all I'm trying to say.
You can, and the tight ends coach evidently 3 days ago dug up some film from 2018 where he threw a 50-yard touchdown for the Panthers and texted Shanahan, and Shanahan was like, fuck it, let's put it in the game plan. Listen to the full podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other podcast streaming platforms. Wherever you want to get the podcast, you can get the podcast. Pretty simple. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Podcasts get pretty wild. This is real tame.